From the balcony view of parenthood or adulthood, what we know that Heinrich, our little teenager, doesn't, is that we do not live an isolated existence. But they have to come to that conclusion on their own. You see, in these words of the child dedication, we see that the importance is not only for ideas, but for relationships. We cannot force people to care for one another. We cannot force people to see the value of relationships in tension with their own wants and needs. They have to recognize it on their own. And there's no magic age. Some of us are still struggling with this. But in that dialogue between Heinrich and his father, there's a bigger picture that is not as obvious. And I believe it's the ticket to freedom from this new totalitarianism. There's a bigger picture, another layer in that dialogue of the Father and the Son. And when you can see it, it can save you from that worship of the individual. It's that our world is about the reality that we are creating together, not just about the rational argument of ideas. Our truth is found primarily in the dynamic of relationship. The ideas matter, but they do not exist in a vacuum either. So equally as important as the ideas is how will each person walk away from that conversation? Will they feel good? Will they feel trusted, honored, supported, respected? See, there's another layer to our understanding in the world. If we approach one another with a posture of trust, a posture that says that we believe that this other person that we're talking to, they can discern their own truth, and it's valuable, and they have something to teach us too. So if we can approach them with a posture of collaboration and value, everything changes. We're reminded to do this every Sunday when we say together in our covenant to seek the truth in love. Because each of those concepts alone, truth and love, without the other, lose value. Now maybe you've experienced this in your own life as you seek to express your truth to your family or to your friends, as you explore your relationship in the world. Well, my hope is that you can be in conversation in this church about your assumptions, about what's important to you, and leave the conversation feeling supported and valued and trusted. So the question is, are you participating in the new totalitarianism? Well, when you find yourself thinking that you know what's best for someone else or everyone else, then yes. Likely, if you've started a sentence like this in the recent past, you know what you should do. I would just avoid that sentence at all costs. We've all done it. Maybe an exploration or a dialogue about their choices or why they're making the decisions they're making would be more helpful. I say that I try not to give advice unless I'm asked for it, and there was a very specific time in my life when that aha came to me, and I was surprised at first how fewer people came to ask me than I initially thought. Now, don't get me wrong, there are times in our lives when we need a balcony view, when we need help from other people, when we need support to be able to stand up for our values and to be held accountable for our behavior. And in the areas of our lives where we have power, we really need to pay attention to this idea of new totalitarianism, because when you have power, whether or not it's at work or in your family or in your relationships, you've got to be in dialogue with those who are essentially giving us that power. And we've got to be in a dialogue that comes from a position of trust, from a posture of mutuality. Because when the Father and the Son begin learning from each other, then we're on our way. When they are seeking the truth in love together, then they're on their way. When we are seeking the truth in love, then we're on our way to fighting that regime of a new totalitarianism.